I'm having a good day. How is your day? Okay, so I have exciting news that I have been waiting for about 2 months to get final approval, confirmation, etc. There are still some details that are being worked out, including exactly which locations I'll be at during which days. But the first thing is, I finally have a date. So, the week of Monday, August 16th, I will be traveling to California. And I will be going to study at two locations. There are two museums there that are working with me. I don't know why, but I feel nervous to say which ones they are. So I don't know if I'm going to say which ones. But I should. I don't know. I feel like if I say them out loud, somehow it'll get taken away from me. It's weird. I think there's a little bit of I'm a little gun shy after I announced that I got my I got my grant through the Society of Antiquaries of London, the Janet Arnold Award, and then literally within 10 days, I think. Oh man, don't look at the messy stuff on the floor behind me. I'm really excited, so I had to just come tell you. Don't look. You're not supposed to look. Okay, so, so I'm going to California. I'm going to go to two different museums. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. Don't spoil the surprise for me. Okay, so I'm going to the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, where for 3 days they are going to be opening up at two different locations. Me the chance to see 29 pieces or extant fragments of printed and painted textiles that date anywhere from like 600 BCE through about 1700 CE. There's a couple modern ones I'm going to take a quick look at, but my primary, I'm so excited. My heart is beating very fast. So my primary study is going to be, well, obviously things that are dated to the Middle Ages and a little bit through, obviously, the Renaissance. 5 of the pieces are from Egypt. 1 might be from Syria. 8 are from India or Bangladesh. 4 are from Turkey. 2 are from Europe. They're not sure if they're Germany, Italy, or Portugal. There's 3 that are from China or Japan. There's 4 that are from Peru. So, oh, and the other exciting thing is there's 3. They have them listed as the Ma'a, M-A', which I'm not sure if they mean the Ma'a people from Tanzania, which would be extremely exciting because it's really hard to find printed textiles from Europe dated to that. Wow. From Africa. Sorry, I'm usually focused on Europe, but it's really hard to find African printed textiles dated to that time frame anywhere. Or sometimes M-A' is also the way that they spell the M-A-W-A, the Mawa people, which are from Indonesia. Either way, cool and exciting and hard to find, but I would be really excited if we found out that they are from Africa. So that is the first place that I'm going, and I will be doing 3 days of study there. That was what finally I got confirmation from for tonight. The other location is the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County, which most of their collection is exclusively, actually all of it. There's 10 textile fragments that are all from various parts of Peru, dating anywhere from like 200 BCE to like 1430 or 1450 CE. So right around the time that Columbus kind of gets to that area. The other exciting thing about going to the Natural History Museum is that they have 5 blocks that I'm going to get to see and study. Now, 2 of those blocks are relatively modern. They are from like the 19th or 18th centuries. However, 1 is from Fiji and 1 is from Samoa, and they're they call them basically like rubbing boards, but they're for textiles. However, the likelihood is that the technology used to make these is very much what had been used for centuries, years and years and years prior. So even though they're newer, I'll get to see them and study them. And I've never actually seen a good picture of them. I've seen pictures in museums, but I haven't seen pictures otherwise. The other 3 blocks, 2 of them are from Mexico and 1 of them is from Panama. The 2 from Mexico are from 1350 to like 1521. The one from Panama is actually a little bit older. It's dated from like 800 to 1100. So, what's also very exciting about them, and this is the other thing that I kind of alluded to the other night, but I just am so worried about saying these things out loud because I don't want anything to like jinx them or curse them or it gets taken away because something crazy happens. But at this point, I think we're relatively locked in. So I contacted somebody that contacted a company that sells 3D scanning software and hardware. And we are currently discussing how they can help me with this project. So, whether I buy something, which might end up, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking was going to happen from the start. But then when I started telling them about the project and about how I share it with all you guys and about the research that we're doing and also some of the applications that I was hoping to do and like some of the tests that I want to conduct by getting to 3D scan and then print and reproduce, they may be helping to sponsor or support this in some way. So that is super, super exciting. So I will spend at least 1 day, if not 2 days there. The logistics might be that because I'm going to be there for a whole work week, the logistics might be that on that last day, like the Friday, neither of the agencies may be able to have their stores open just because they have to have like the volunteers and the staff and whatever to be there. So I may only get 1 day with the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County, but if I do, then I prioritize the scanning of the blocks, both the ones from Mexico, Panama, Fiji, and Samoa, just so we have like some reference, right? So, I'm like shaking. I'm so excited. I'm so nervous. But what I'm most excited about is, don't get super emotional. I'm getting emotional. So COVID hit. Couldn't do my research. That's okay. Let's make sure everybody's safe. We get through that. The Society of Antiquaries in London, who gave me the grant originally to do this same scope of study, but in different repositories, they gave me the grant to go study in the United Kingdom and in Germany. It is July 1st. June 18th, the travel ban finally got lifted by the European Union. So I'm going to reach back out to the V&A Museum, but unfortunately, if you remember from previous videos and previous conversations that we've had, the main place that I was going to be doing all of my study was the Clothworkers Center. Well, they've closed down the Clothworkers Center to do massive renovations, which is really super exciting for them, and I am really, really happy for them and the people that utilize and learn from the V&A Museum or the Victoria and Albert Museum. But it also means that until at least spring of 2023, so probably 2 more years from now, most of those things are not available. There may be one other way that I can get in, and that would be by getting a visiting fellowship, which I feel not 100% confident that I will be able to get. I'm sure there's lots of other people who have bigger pedigrees than me and exciting projects too, and have college affiliations, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's other research projects that I think are probably going to get prioritized before me, and that's okay. So I'm feeling very nervous about whether or not I will be able to do my studies at the V&A Museum anytime before like summer of 2023. So I did reach out to my grantor, and I sent them just a quick progress report and said, here's where I'm at. Here's what I've tried to do. Here's what I have actually been able to do and secure here in the States. And then asking them if they would maybe be willing to not divert the funds, but reassign the funds, rebudget the funds, so that instead of me traveling to Europe, which is still kind of up in the air, whether or not it's wise to travel, maybe I will do the research here in the States. So keep your fingers crossed. Maybe they will extend, just say, okay, keep the money till 2023 and still do it in Europe. They may ask for the money back, which I would completely understand. They've been very patient. Or they may say, sure, submit a budget and we'll see if we can't kind of reassign those funds to basically, again, do the same scope of studies. For me, the only bummer about that is the V&A Museum has the single largest repository of European derived, made, produced, printed textiles. Some of the European textiles that are here in the States, primarily at the Met Museum. There are some, I think, at the Cooper Hewitt Museum, and a couple actually at the Rhode Island School of Design, which you would not expect, but they're there. And then there's just a couple, but not many, at the Cleveland Museum of Art. Speaking of which, another museum reached out to me this week and said, surprise! We're open again. And we can schedule with you a time to come in and see your textiles. So I am currently working, gosh, I'm so nervous about saying these out loud, but I'm working with the Cleveland Museum of Art, which is on my top 5 places I want to study here in America, and probably even overall in the world. I would say V&A Museum, German Historical Museum, Ashmolean Museum, Met Museum, and Cleveland Museum of, I don't know, because the Los Angeles, so here's what was really surprising to me. The Los Angeles County Museum of Art, when I stumbled across, they had one Egyptian textile, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've never seen that one before. So then I just kind of like literally did every search term that I could think of to see what else they had there. And then at one point, because, pandemic and you have a lot of time on your hands, was literally going through and cataloging every single textile they had to see anything. Because the thing I find with most museums is that they're not always well listed by keyword. And sometimes the words that they use to describe what we call printed textiles or painted or textiles or resist-dyed textiles, sometimes they use totally different terminology. It just really depends on the institution. So, I don't know. I might have to go to a top 10 list. Anyways, so it's exciting. And I'm really pleased to be able to share with you that finally I'm going to be able to go out and conduct some of this research. If you are not already familiar, the research that I will be doing is basically a visual analysis of the textiles. I will be measuring, size and shapes of the motifs. I will be looking at the twist of the warp and the weave. Is it a Z twist? Is it an S twist? I'm going to look at do a visual assessment as to what type of fiber it is, though that won't always be super clear. It's just going to be kind of me guessing from my familiarity. I will also be doing an analysis of the weave that is used, because that can also help us basically establish the provenance of these textiles. So one of the interesting things that I recently learned is, oh my gosh, and I'm blanking. I'm pretty sure that any textile from India is Z twist only. And anything that has a Z and an S twist that looks similar stylistically is actually from Egypt. So it's those little things that you learn about the textiles and their provenance and their origin and how they're made that tells us more about the technology that was used, about their processes, etc., etc. Also, there's a lot of things that are listed as like painted when really they're resist-dyed or the other way around. And that also makes a huge difference in terms of determining or establishing where they're from. I'm getting ahead of myself. So essentially what I'm going to be doing is that analysis. There is some discussion about some other analyses that we may or may not be able to do depending on who is around. That will kind of get determined day of. But at a bare minimum, I get to do those things. And then the 3D scanning of some of those blocks to then also test them, because there's a huge debate in the community of Mesoamerican and South American estampaderos, celos, blocks or stamps, whether or not they're for ceramics, are they for body decoration, and or are they for textiles. And I think that you guys know, if you followed my videos, that I believe they're at least for textiles and possibly for body decoration. I don't actually think they were used for ceramics, because there was one site where they found a bunch of ceramic fragments, and they also found a bunch of these estampaderos and celos And none of the motifs between the Estampaderos and Celos matched any of the pottery fragments. Not a single one. Why is that? Don't know. So, anyways, that's what's going on with me. What's going on with you? So I have a few weeks to and a couple things happening between there, not really super stressful or anything, but I am going to get to go do at least some of the scope of study, even if it doesn't technically fall under the grant. I have been able to establish secure funding for that, so I'm hoping that the grant will help pay for this and possibly other repositories here in America as they open up and become available. But if they don't, and if I have to return it, that's okay. The studies will go on. This is still happening. So I wanted to share with you all. Please, nobody jinx it. Nobody, I don't know. I just feel it's weird. Is it weird? Am I being paranoid? Maybe I am. I just have been so nervous to say that it's going to happen and then have it not happen again, because that happened. I said it happened a lot. Okay, so now I'm babbling. That's the news. That's the update. You're probably not going to hear too much. I don't want to bug you guys with the minutia of what is going to be happening with which days I'm going to be studying on. But what I will be doing when I'm in California is every day there's probably going to be some kind of like live. I don't know if I'll do live, but I'll do some vlogging. So you guys will get to see. We are also discussing whether or not I will be interviewing some staff. And also maybe contributing to some of their social media to get people excited about history, about archaeology, about anthropology, about these artifacts, and why they're so fascinating, the stories that they can tell, and I'm babbling. So thank you all, as always, for supporting me, for cheering me on, for being patient when I pouted and was bummed about things, and just keeping me going, because it has been hard with no libraries and no museums. Although the libraries have more recently opened up, so that's been nice. But it's been very hard to conduct any studies at all when there's basically nothing available. So I'm excited, among other reasons, that the world is opening back up and possibilities are reopening to us printed textile nerds. So that's it. That's the excitement. That's the what's what. Keep your fingers crossed. If you know of good places in Los Angeles to stay, let me know. I think one of the places I'll be studying in is Compton. No problem. I've been to Compton before. It's fine. Mom, don't freak out. It's going to be fine. So, yeah. That's the excitement. Bye.